What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Just wanted to do a quick little video because in my last PvP video, I discussed a little bit about how I wasn't really quite sure about the Greatsword. Wasn't really too keen on it. You know, it didn't seem like it really had a whole lot of a place. But as a good tester, I thought it would be appropriate to instead actually take some time and figure out, you know, what exactly is up with the Greatsword. What's some of the best ways of utilizing the weapon? So I messed around with the calculator, you know, got a few things done, and yeah, I came up with a build that I find pretty enjoyable. Does some decent DPS. Been running a Citadel of Flame with this a bunch, and I find I have no problems surviving in the dungeon or pretty much doing anything in the dungeon. It's a really it's a fun spec, a lot better I think than the Greatsword spec, or excuse me, the staff spec was. The staff spec, for some reason, I liked it, and I found I could kill things relatively quickly, but it was kind of boring. I mean, yeah, I got a lot of chaos armor procs from it and things like that. But anyway, enough of that. So obviously, we're using a Greatsword. My offset, I'm using a sword and focus, mostly so I can get the run speed buff, and you know, Phantasmal Warder is a really nice. Nice illusion to pop out, a nice phantasm to have. For my utility skills, I'm running with Ether Feast so that I can heal more for each of my active clones. I'm also using Feedback because it's honestly is such a freaking great skill. In like Citadel of Flame, for example, when you run Explorable Path 1 and you get those turrets, pop that thing on the turret, and lo and behold, the turret is pretty much dead. Yeah, it's a really good skill. You do have to time it right, though. There are, you know, if you don't get it when the enemy's attacking, then it doesn't really do you a whole lot of good. Where do I jump here? Oh, missed it. Anyway, so then I'm also running with improved, Signet of Domination, so I can have some improved condition damage. It's not really the necessity. That one, I think, out of all of the skills, is the one I would probably change out the most. It's a good signet. I find that I almost never use the active ability on it, though. I'm almost always using just letting it sit there passively, unless things get really in a bind, and then I do indeed use, you know, that active ability. Then for me, because I'm Asura, you know, best race in the game, I'm going with the Summon 7 series Golem, and that is a fantastic, absolutely fantastic elite skill for the Asura. It is a wonderful skill. The Golem does quite a bit of damage. He hits pretty darn hard. So it's a good utility. If I was not using that, however, though, I would go with either Time Warp or Moa Morph, just depending on your group composition and what you want to go there. Mass Invisibility, not overly impressed with the skill, at least from a PvE standpoint. There's not an excessive number of times that you actually need invisibility in PvE. It just not entirely necessary. Now, a lot of people have been saying that Decoy, of course, is an absolutely amazing skill, and it is. I went personally with Mirror Images because I wanted the ability to create those 2 clones. The getting the 1 clone is nice with Decoy, and obviously you get the invisibility with that as well. But I wanted to instead, you know, be able to get a little bit more clone regeneration. Clone generation, so I went with Mirror Images, so I got the 2, plus it breaks stuns, and it's just, you know, it's a good little skill. I like Mirror Images personally. As for my build, as I'm here grabbing my current profits, as for my build, oops, not inventory. Right now I'm running with a 20-20-30 build, and we've got 20 in domination, which gives us 5 seconds of invulnerability whenever we interrupt a foe. That one, whatever. Mental torment, so that we get 20% more damage on our mind racks, which you do want to use frequently. We're getting dazzling, which inflicts daze. Inflicting daze also causes 3 seconds of vulnerability. Again, kind of meh. But here we got Greatsword training, which gives us 50 power while wielding a Greatsword, but it also reduces our Greatsword skills by 20%. So that's a really decent ability that you want to pick up there. In the Chaos line, we get Metaphysical Rejuvenation, which grants us 10 seconds of regeneration when our health hits 75%, with a 30-second cooldown. Then we went with Illusionary Defense. That gives us 3% reduced damage for each illusion you have in the world. Now, this one is very, very optional. You can go with, Retaliatory Demise, so you get retaliation when you get downed. This is Descent into Madness is a absolutely wonderful, wonderful skill, and I would highly recommend if you're doing jumping puzzles or kind of just general PvE questing where you're not concerned overly about dying, pick up Descent into Madness. It is a great skill because you take 50% less follow damage. But I'm going with Debilitating Dissipation. Not Debilitating Dissipation. What am I going with here? Illusionary Defense. Illusionary Membrane grants you protection for 2 seconds when you gain regeneration. So when you gain regeneration at 75% health, you'll also get protection for 2 seconds. And then finally I went with, here's Debilitating Dissipation. These clones apply a random condition to nearby foes when they are killed. There are some additional things, like you can get toughness if you're using a staff or spear. Activating a signet will remove a condition. You probably want to go with that if you were running into some high condition dungeons. You can apply a random condition when you interrupt a foe. But I like, because clones are so squishy. I mean, they die, 1-2 hits. Being able to apply at least a little bit of a condition to them is really important. And then in the illusion line, we've got Illusionist Celerity, which reduces our summoning skills on all of our illusions, that's clones and phantasms, by 20%. Then we went with Precise Rack, which gives us a 10% higher critical chance with Mind Rack. 15 points gets us Illusionary Retribution, which causes all of our shatter effects to inflict confusion, which basically means that you will never use Cry of Frustration again. Pretty much unbind it from your bar and be done with it. Then we have Shattering Strength. Shattering Illusions gives you might. And last but not least, Illusionary Persona. Shattering Illusions creates a shatter effect on you as well. Now, one of the things that you actually can change out here. Oops, I forgot to mention. Not change out. This is one you absolutely want to have, and this is that bouncing attacks have 1 additional bounce. Now, what's nice about that is when, for example, you're using the Greatsword number 2 skill, when you're using Mirror Blade, instead of it bouncing 3 times on your target, it'll actually bounce 4 times on your target, which is a very, very, very nice addition, and there you can get some pretty good damage going. You get some pretty good damage going there with Mirror Blade. Let me hop back over here to the dummies, and I'll show you guys just kind of how I work things. Because of the fact that I have myself as an illusion as well, shattering at 2 illusions is equally viable. With that last point there, it actually counts yourself as an illusion, and that's also really good for if something gets in close, you can cast Diversion, and it'll daze them, or dazing them. Or you can cast Distortion and get at least a 1-second distortion out of it, which is really, really nice. So we're gonna get max range here, and look, we throw this 1, 2, 3. It's really, really good on the bouncing there. Get in close and see. Look at that. Just bam, 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 bam. It's a really, really nice on the bounce effect there. You can't quite see it as well, obviously, when they're all in close like that. Like there, see, look at that. So I just hit these two guys twice each with the mirror blade there, doing additional damage. And of course, the nice thing is I get might for each of my shattered clones. And yeah, so I do have to kind of repent of my previous statements there. The Greatsword is actually a very, very good weapon, and with the right build, you can definitely get some very, very, very good DPS going. It's not definitely as condition heavy as the Greatsword is, so you want to focus more on like power and precision or crit damage. I would definitely suggest throwing in, some vitality as well. I went with toughness in this build because I wanted particularly these chaos ones. But if you want to get vitality on your gear, that'll give you a little bit more health. As you can see right now, I'm sitting at 17, almost 18,000 health, which is pretty decent. So yeah, so that's my Greatsword Mesmer build. Here I am sporting my, a little bit, got 2 pieces of the Citadel of Flames armor, but yeah, so I hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching, and we will see you all next time. Have a good one.